So. Ich weiß nicht, wie es heute wird mit Vorlesen, weil ich habe vorhin schon ein bisschen Zeug aufgenommen, bisschen Creepypastas gelesen und so weiter. Deswegen weiß ich jetzt nicht, ob ich eventuell ein bisschen geübt für heute drin bin, zu lesen, vorzulesen oder vielleicht sogar schon ein bisschen ausgelaugt bin. Mal schauen. Ähm, aber ja, muss halt mal schauen, dass ich auf jeden Fall nächste Woche Creepypastas aufnehme. Weil ich bin mit dem Ding, das ich für Halloween geplant habe, noch nicht so ganz fertig. Da fehlt noch ein kleines bisschen was. Grob geschätzt, Moment. Grob geschätzt. Ein Sechstel fehlt noch, das ich noch vorlesen muss. Aufnehmen und so weiter. Werde ich schon schaffen. So, was ist eigentlich letztes Mal passiert in Higurashi? Was ist letztes Mal passiert in Higurashi? Also einmal, dass Keiichi sich nicht so ganz gut gefühlt hat und... Ach ja, stimmt. Also einmal, ich glaube einmal, dass Keiichi sich halt nicht so ganz gut gefühlt hat. Das war nochmal vorletztes Mal. Ist dann erstmal ein bisschen rumgelaufen. Dann ein bisschen Gespräch gehabt mit Takano und Tomitake. Also die Krankenschwester und dem einen Fotografen. Und dann ist er doch endlich irgendwann mal an der Schule angekommen. Und dann wurde er zusammen mit Mion ins Lehrerzimmer sozusagen gerufen. Genau. Die Lehrerin hat dann gefragt, ob es denn wirklich so schlimm ist, wie gemunkelt wird mit Satoko. Dass ihr Onkel denn so böse ist und so weiter. Und dann hat sich Keiichi lautstark darüber eingesetzt, dass die Lehrerin anständig was deswegen tun soll. Anständig dem Jugendamt sozusagen sagen soll, dass die auf jeden Fall was tun sollen und nicht nur so halbherzig oder so vage sagen soll, ja, schaut halt mal vorbei oder sowas. Und ja, das war letztes Mal. Da hat es ungefähr dann geendet. So. The Die of Fate had been cast. Ist Die ernsthaft ein alternatives Wort für Dice? Also für Würfel? Die. Spielwürfel. Tatsächlich. Okay. Ich meine, ich hab's hin und wieder schon mal gehört mit dem Die anstatt Dice, aber bisschen komisch. So. The Die of Fate had been cast. Reporting to a public agency which we'd kept being warned could instead result in something far worse than for Satoko if we didn't have the evidence first. And just like that. Had I failed? Had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment? Maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion, since she had been relatively calm. I remembered the punishment game where we had to badmouth Curry, and how me saying anything would have made it worse, and Satoko told us to leave the talking to her. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to lament it. The die I had thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen. Ach, stimmt, ich habe ja ganz vergessen. Die anderen. Okay, Moment. Ich versuch's mal ganz schnell. Ich habe ganz vergessen, die Dinge auszutauschen. Oder versuchen, die Dinge auszutauschen. Machen wir das mal ganz, ganz schnell. Sollte nicht lange dauern. Komplett vergessen. So haben wir es. Higurashi, Tatarigoroshi, Data, Streaming Assets. Okay, CG Alt. Das Schöne ist hier. Warum auch immer mein Bildschirm jetzt wieder nicht aufnehmen geht. Kann ich das gar nicht schön zeigen. Ne, egal. Weil das sind die ganzen Dinger drin. Die ganzen Grafiken. Müssten, glaube ich, den gleichen Namen haben wie die anderen. Die normalen. Ich habe die auf jeden Fall gespeichert gehabt. Bam, bam, bam. Beziehungsweise ich kopiere die einfach von den anderen Kapiteln raus. Beziehungsweise ganz schnell Backup machen, falls das doch nicht funktioniert. Dass ich das dann schnell wieder umändern kann. Gut. Tatarigoroshi-hen, Streaming Assets, CG Alt. Da waren ja, glaube ich, die alten Dinge drin. Ne, das sind auch neue. Okay, aber im ersten Kapitel, da waren die. Haben sich nur die Hintergründe geändert. Schnell. Ja, genau. Bam, bam, bam. Kopieren wir alle. Die kopieren wir. Zack. Zack. Habe ich's. Gut. Kopieren. Tatarigoroshi. CG Alt. Reinkopieren. Ersetzen. Bisschen andere Dinge von den alten. Von der PS3 sind noch drin. Ein bisschen was hat's überschrieben. So von Irie habe ich keine aktuellen, ne, keine geupdateten Dinger. Das heißt, der wird weiter ein bisschen komisch aussehen. Aber ja. So, probieren wir es mal. Hoffentlich funktioniert's. Okay, es lässt sich zumindest schon mal starten, das ist gut. Continue, load. Yay! Da ist sie, unsere ganz neue Arena. HD-Grafik und so. Gott, hat funktioniert. Mal schauen. Also manchmal, also jetzt so wie ich es gesehen habe, kann es sein, dass manchmal die Dinger doch noch anders aussehen. Aber wird schon passen. So, Keiji-kun, you did everything you could. So leave it to the teachers now. Okay. Everything I could. if I really gave it everything I had. If I had really struggled, I would have dragged Satoko out of her home last night and hidden her in some abandoned house. I didn't, so that means I didn't do everything I could. Da jetzt zum Beispiel. Naja. Stop thinking about it, alright? You're being a little too persistent, Keiichi-kun. At this rate, you'll collapse. Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene and solve everything within the day? Would they acknowledge the abuse and guarantee her safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study. The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Sensei came trotting back from the classroom. I'm really sorry for all the phone calls recently. Let's call it a day. President, please lead the class. Everybody, stand up. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since after lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation and passionately explained it to the other person. At the end, the Child Consultation Center, meine ich, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her to safety. Sensei understood that as well as us. And that's why she looked so unreliable right now. Und jetzt hat sie sich wieder geändert. Also so wie es aussieht, die PS3-Grafiken haben ein bisschen mehr Ausdrücke, ein bisschen mehr Emotionen und so weiter drin. Aber nein. Kei-chan, let's go home. I don't think anyone feels like having the club today. Ahahaha. Mi-chan, it's no fun if someone's not here. Reina was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we could have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself all I can do is pray now that the dice have been cast. The dice. Just in case they didn't get her to safety and decided to wait and see again, I'd need to take further measures. We've asked the people who could do something official already. Then there was one more place that was worth asking for help. She might laugh it off, or I might be right, and I could be endangering my own life. But I'd try. Oh, Mion, is it okay if I stop by your place today? You've got a lot of manga, right? I want to borrow a bunch of them. Huh? Sure, I guess. There was an ominous meaning behind my words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something alone. That's what I meant. Mi-chan, Keiichi-kun, let's go home. Reina already had her shoes on and was waving to us from the schoolyard. Das ist komisch. Ups. Ich glaube im Manga hat Keiichi das mit den im Manga hat Keiichi das mit den Mangas nicht in der Schule gesagt, sondern ich glaube auf dem Weg nach Hause. Also ein bisschen geändert. Im Manga dann. Sieht gar nicht so schlimm aus. Ja, man kommt klar. Man weiß ja, wer ist und so. So, Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was a vaguely old-fashioned traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or their plot of land, was enormous. Easily convinced me that they really were major landowners with Hinamizawa under their thumb. Mion brought me through the guest our guest room and a servant brought us some tea. Wow, really are rich, huh? You've even got housekeepers. Grandma and I are the only ones who live here. I wouldn't be able to do everything myself. The servant left, telling us it was 5 o'clock, then withdrew with soft footsteps. So. We have people come in to take care of Grandma and clean 2 or 3 times a week. They come in rotations of 3 or 4, so there's someone here almost every day. Only until evening, though. Oh, and if we're having a party or something where we need more help, we call up different people. If you had the money to hire all these people, then just take Satoko in. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately. Oh, sorry. It's fine. I know it's not a money problem. Just to be clear, my family may be rich, but it's not money that I can use freely for myself, okay? I don't want you to misunderstand that. It kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately. So, what's up? You had something to talk about, right? Yeah, mangas. I have something pretty serious to discuss, Mion. This will be sudden and you might be surprised, but I want you to hear me out. Huh? What? Oh, I'll give you a way out first. Even if what I say is true, you don't need to admit it. You're allowed to play dumb. But I want you to listen until the end. I have something to say to the next leader of what's still the most important of the 3 families of Onigashima village, Mion Zonozaki. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted. Where did you hear that? It doesn't really matter. I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. Okay, also, jetzt wissen wir, wer, ach, die Kackmusik schon wieder. Ich muss die unbedingt mal raussuchen und umtauschen. Aus den ganzen Dingern. Dass dann eine andere Musik abgespielt wird. Ist ja. Aber jetzt wissen wir, wen Takano verdächtigt an den ganzen Morden hinter Oyashiro-samas Fluch. So, nehmen wir wieder irgendwie Musik. Gut. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. This was why I asked you about it, after all. I was surprised just that you'd hear of Onikafuchi Village, Kei-chan, but you seem to know a lot of things, both true and false, about me too. Yeah, true and false. I really might just have the wrong impression here. But I'm okay with that, so listen. And if it really is true... I don't know what you're getting at, Kei-chan, but let me say this beforehand. You've got a big misunderstanding. So if it were possible, I wouldn't want to hear what you're about to say. Because even if you said it, I can't do anything to help you. Still, if talking about it will lighten your burden even a little, I listen. I'm only just going to listen. Nothing more will happen. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd be talking about. She warned me that doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. Und Musik ein bisschen leiser machen. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Sonosaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that had been occurring every year in Hinamizawa. You know that stuff about Oyashiro-sama's curse, right? Mion nodded a little. No one knows what it is or why it happens. My goodness. So. No one knows what it is or why it happens. Even if each incident is solved, the string of deaths and accidents as a whole is still a mystery. But there's one thing connecting them all, and that's how the targets are always enemies of the village. Seems like it. Mion spoke as if it didn't relate to her. That was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen to me. The day after tomorrow, it's Watanagashi, isn't it? Has the sacrifice for this year's curse been decided already? Mion didn't answer. Her expression remained the same too. Like she said, she was just quietly listening. Sorry. The promise was that you'd listen. You'd just listen. So it's weird for me to ask a question, huh? Wieder stellt eine Frage. Mion gave me a look she'd never given me before. A faraway look, a sympathetic one. She didn't nod, she just smiled faintly and listened to me. Listen to me? What? She didn't nod, she just smiled faintly and listened to me. Fehlt ein D. Ein ED eigentlich. Egal. If this year's curse isn't going to be on Satoko's uncle, then please change it to him. I mean, last year it was her aunt, right? It's in the right order, so it wouldn't be weird. Ahahaha. You're right, it seems like there's an order. I mean, after her aunt died to the curse last year, he abandoned Satoko and fled into the town for a whole year. Why wouldn't a guy like that definitely be next on Oyashiro-sama's list? There shouldn't be any issue with choosing him for this year. I see. Ist die Musik eigentlich noch? Ich glaube, das ist andere Musik jetzt. I see. If he were to die from the curse this year... Ah ne, es ist wieder die Musik. I see. If he were to die from the curse this year, no one would see anything unusual about it. I heard that Oyashiro-sama's curse is, well, no matter how I looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I should continue. No matter how I tried, the words wouldn't come out. The string of freak deaths in Hinamizawa, also called Oyashiro-sama's curse, is saying the incidents perpetrated by the village, carried out by the three families at the Sonosaki's instructions. Is that it? I wasn't. I don't care one bit whether you have anything to do with it. I'm just saying, if you have any way of communicating with whoever decides the targets of the curse, then I just want you to tell them to choose Satoko's uncle. Please. Everything you've been saying has been terrible. If the freak death incidents in Hinamizawa were carried out by the will of the Sonosaki family, that would mean the main culprit would be me, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have chosen the target of the curse, given the instructions killed many people. I would have chosen the target of the curse, given the instructions killed many people and gotten rid of others. You're calling me a murderer, Kei-chan. I didn't say that. Didn't you listen to me? I don't care whether you're the one behind the murders or not. I just don't. Even if you were the culprit, it doesn't change the fact that you're my friend. It doesn't matter at all. If the police were chasing you, I'd come to help. I'd make you an alibi and even help you escape. Because we're friends and comrades. Aren't we? Mion looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded. Now you're declaring yourself complicit. Kei-chan, that's pretty bold of you. Yeah. Come on, don't interrupt Satoko's uncle. Choose him for... Stop right there, Kei-chan. I wanted to start on dinner soon, so I'd like to leave things at this. Mion. Hello, Amadeo. I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. They slid down my chin and fell, drip, drop, to the tatami mat. It's like I said at the start, you've got a big misunderstanding. Koyashiro-sama's curse is just that. Even if there were people behind those incidents, they don't have anything to do with the Sonosaki family or me either. Right. Right, I understand that. It's just... It was touching to hear such a desperate plea, Kei-chan, but that was all it was. Even if I wanted to help, I can't. You understand that too, right? Yeah. But now I know how you feel, so well it hurts. If I really were, like you said, the one controlling the three families and choosing the sacrifices each year, I'd probably grant your wish. Mion. But the reality is different. I'm just Mion Sonosaki. My family may be the subject of all sorts of bad rumors about controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows. But we have nothing to do with the freak death incidents. We may have been a little extreme during the damn war, but that's all. You would never do something so insane as to kill people. Don't say such sad things. Right now, at least, I don't care. Why can't it just be nice and lie to me? Kei-chan, you're free to believe what you like. If I lied to you now, you'd be convinced Satoko would be freed the night after tomorrow, and you'd be able to shed much of your burden. However, reality is harsh. Satoko's uncle will survive beyond that day. He'd still be alive next week and the week after that. You need to prepare yourself for that. I don't want you coming to me the day after Watanagashi and demanding to know why he wasn't killed. Mion. Mion stood up slowly and closed the sliding door to keep out the wind that had grown chilly. Was it Mio-san? Ich glaube, es ist wieder gleiche Musik, immer noch. Was it Mio-san? Did she give you all those ideas? She really likes to misunderstand things about Hinamizawa. Well, we can let her have her fun. But I don't really want her influencing you, Kei-chan. Jeez. This is why outsiders are no good. Takano-san has nothing to do with it. Right. Don't worry. Even though I know she told you about it, Kei-chan, nothing's going to happen. It's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse. Besides, we don't even know for sure if the curse will happen this year. Maybe it was all just a pile of unfortunate coincidences. Thanks for listening. If you aren't connected to the serial deaths at all, then that must have been an uncomfortable conversation. I'll apologize for it. I see. You'll apologize for it. Ha 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 ha. Good. So, Musik. Mion said she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said she had a meeting or something today about Sunday's Watanagashi festival, so there would be a lot of people from the town council and the festival committee coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say. If there's a God in heaven, then he probably understands how strongly you feel. Yeah, I'm really sorry for being so weird today. You can pretend like this discussion never happened if you want. Okay, I'll forget about it. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye. I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that what Takano-san had told me at least wasn't a complete fabrication. If Mion was really, really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips, and I wanted to think that was proof. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Satoko's uncle. I was the only one talking that whole time. Mion quietly listened to everything I had to say, like a pastor listening to a confession. She couldn't have gotten angry partway through, told me off and to go wash my face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. That was proof that Mion's family, the Sonosaki, were the masterminds. Or was she just listening because she felt sorry for me going kind of crazy? I didn't know which it was. But it was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance. Should worst come to worst and the public agency decided to wait and see. It was a completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Sensei said that if she reported it to the child consultation center, they'd have to respond on the same day. Could they already be in the middle of responding to it now? If Satoko came to school tomorrow morning all energetic, then everything would be just a needless fear. Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? The night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get to sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Satoko, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tasted the end of her nightmare, enjoying a night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon. Neuer Tag, aber keine Halbzeit. Oder vielleicht auch. Ne, interessant. Good morning, Cake-kun. Morning. Thank goodness, I thought you overslept today too. Your mom said you'd gone on ahead yesterday and then you weren't at school. I was worried that you had gotten heat stroke halfway there. Yeah, I'm very sorry for all the worry I caused you yesterday. Hey, good morning. Mi-chan, good morning. Wow, you really stink of liquor. You'll get found out for sure. Oh, right. Wasn't there a big business meeting with all the people on the town council yesterday? They only called it that. It was more like a party. We have the festival every year, right? We wouldn't have any annoying meetings at this point. Are you going to help out with the festival this afternoon then? Yep. I have to do a meet and greet with all sorts of people in Grandma's place. Besides, they already started setting up for the festival. Our morning conversation was light-hearted as usual. It looked like Mion had thankfully forgotten about how I'd barged into her house yesterday with that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I felt like I'd really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless and I wouldn't have been weird. It wouldn't have been weird if she'd yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. Okay, jetzt fängt's langsam an wieder mit dem Verlesen und Scheiß. To think that our comrade and friend Mion, the young leader of the Sonosakis, one of the three families efficiently controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents was a little unbelievable. But if there was even a 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. Yes, it was no more than 1 in 100. But that little bit of effort might have brought the chances of saving Satoko up by even a tiny bit. At least, I'd made that effort. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it was probably just to clap my hands and pray that Satoko's uncle would be killed by the curse. I hope Satoko makes it today. Me too. Sensei is doing things for her, right? I'm sure it'll be fine. My aunt is a welfare agent in the Hinamizawa district. I gave her a call last night. Huh? I didn't know your aunt was a welfare officer. What happened? Did you tell her about Satoko-chan? Yep. Chia-sensei called the child consultation center right after we talked to her. A child welfare officer apparently visited before the night was over. My aunt said that they were going to pay visits at regular intervals from now on. Enough with the dumb little stuff. Want to know what happened to Satoko? Did they get her safe? My aunt wasn't that informed about it. I was supposed to keep this a secret anyway. Her telling me was a big breach of ethics in the first place. Damn, that makes me feel even worse. Let's get to school. Right. Discussing this more would just make us feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Satoko was safe or not. The three of us nodded and ran off. Was Satoko safe? What measures had the child consultation center taken? It didn't care. I didn't care what. As long as we could go back to our peaceful life with Satoko today, it didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks at the entrance, Reina took a peek in Satoko's shoe cubby. Ah, Satoko's shoes are here. They're here. Kei-chan, Satoko came. Thank goodness. We don't know if anything happened just because she came to school. We can't know anything until we see her face. We trotted towards the classroom. The classroom was lively, as it usually was in the morning. Satoko, where are you? Meep. She's right here. It's too early in the morning to be so loud. Would you please keep it down a bit? Satoko-chan, are you okay? All of our friends crowded around Satoko excitedly. A probation officer came, right? How did it go? Fake Satoko, Hilfe. Who was it that called them? I swear it was quite a mess, you know. It was the teacher. You were absent for so long, of course she was worried. Satoko said, I told you I am fine, under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own. It was a big brother to both me and my uncle. That person just barged in on us suddenly. Jeez. Big bother. Bother. Nicht brother. Everyone was worried about you, Satoko. Don't say it was a bother. Ah, jeez. Anyway, what happened? Nothing happened. Ha ha ha. My cold got better, so I came back to school. That's all. I can't take too much time off from now on, because then you'll all worry about me. Ha ha ha. What was Satoko saying? What happened to you? What happened to, well, your uncle? Oh, he admitted there were some misunderstandings, and we both apologized. Fuck. Rika-chan grabbed the bag of my collar and pulled me away. What is it, Rika-chan? Rika-chan suddenly dragged me all the way into the hallway. Rika-chan, what did that mean? Satoko said nothing was happening and chased them away. That idiot. But why? No, Somewhere in my mind, I thought it might turn out like this. Satoko didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to write out this pain. She wanted to show Satoko proof that if Satoshi proof, my god. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need to hide behind him anymore. But Coach said probation officers can bring her to safety in an emergency even if it's against her wishes. However much Satoko denied the abuse, it's a fact. Chie-sensei finally came. Her expression was far from cheerful. Yes, you're right, Maebara-kun. If the child welfare officer determines that it's an emergency, they have the right to immediately take them to safety, regardless of the affected party's intent. Then why? Why is Satoko's intent being respected so much? It's weird. Why don't they put her into safety? Well, after the person in charge at the child consultation center looked into it from many angles, they determined... What the hell is that? Sensei, didn't you say it was going to be alright, since you'd definitely save her? What's the meaning of this? This doesn't make any sense. Answer me, dammit! Keiichi, this is actually the third time someone has reported Satoko's child abuse. It happened twice in the past, too. Furude-san. Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway. Twice before? I heard they decided to wait and see after reporting it the winter before last, but it happened before then too? Satoko's father, who died, wasn't her real father. What? Rika-chan, that's what? I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so I couldn't get a word in either. Satoko's mother remarried. She brought Satoko and Satoshi with her, so they weren't related by blood to their father. Satoshi was a good kid, one who listened politely to what adults told him. He immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But immediately welcomed by... Das bei passt da nicht. But Satoko was different. She was rebellious, she told lies, she played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like her at all. What do you mean? Even before she was given to their uncle and his wife, Satoko didn't have a very good relationship with her family. Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent at the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him. But the young Satoko didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather and never opened her heart to him even a little. She just got on his nerves all the time, with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course, but that too faded quickly. I don't know, because I wasn't in Hinamizawa at the time, but I learned this on the phone yesterday. What story did you hear, sensei? That Satoko-chan wanted to trick her parents, especially her stepfather, so she inflicted wounds on herself so she could make up a false story about abuse. And that she sent out an SOS herself. She made up a story about hurting herself? Satoko made a fake phone call to try and get rid of the father she hated. Child welfare officers rushed there and heard the story. Her father genuinely apologized for a few times when he had gone too far and agreed to let the child welfare center give him coaching. Related agencies looked into it quite a bit. They determined that Satoko-chan and her stepfather's hearts not being quite matched up was the cause of the incident. But they found another problem above that with Satoko-chan. A problem with Satoko? What was it? Satoko's mother, there were a few times where she had lived with de facto husbands though those relationships didn't result in remarriage. From a young age, Satoko had been forced to call at least 2 or 3 people her father. At some point, Satoko's pranks escalated. She would spill food on purpose, turn over her plate, and even throw it. She would break the windows in the neighborhood and shoplift candy. She would put thumbtacks everywhere and set other traps to seriously hurt people. Not in the way she did now, just to get laughs. She was also fond of telling lies that would be found out right away, and people got mad at her every time. But she never, ever changed her behavior. Please don't think Satoko-chan was a problem child. Satoko-chan was young. It was an act of self-defense that she had to take against the unknown men her mother had chosen. In regards to Satoko's problematic behavior, child psychology experts from public institutions indicated her actions were to draw her mother's attention to herself. They acknowledged that she had a form of harmful emotional trauma and declared that she needed counseling and therapy from professionals. They didn't know whether that therapy had healed the wounds in her heart. Satoko-chan purposely hurt herself and told them that she was being abused by her stepfather in an attempt to chase him out. But in the end, her stepfather did abuse her, right? No. All of the abuse had been made up by Satoko-chan. Her stepfather, of course, may have scolded her in a somewhat emotional way, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Satoko had lied to chase away her stepfather, and they saw through her right away and found out that Satoko had issues. Oh, could it be that's why the winter before last they decided to wait and see? Yes, the Child Consultation Center had all their past records, so they needed to act carefully in case Satoko was lying. What the hell? So what? Satoko might be telling a lie, so they needed to be careful. So how does that mean they just end up waiting and seeing? It was the girl who cried wolf. That fable about telling a lie once, making others unwilling to believe you later. That's bullshit. The past has nothing to do with this started. Only what's really happening right now is important. Satoko is being abused by her uncle. Why something that happened in the past getting in the way helping her now? Neither Sensei nor Rika-chan had anything to say to that. Anyway, yesterday a probation officer visited to carefully determine what was going on. And Satoko dealt with them, put on the best, strongest smile she could manage, and denied the abuse. Of course, she was probably being threatened to keep quiet about it by her uncle. Satoko was trying to outlast everything without asking for help. Satoko wanted to wait for Satoshi to come back home, and she outright denied the truth of the abuse. What an idiot. What? You're not really enduring it. Do you really think pretending like this will actually bring Satoshi back? Just stop it already. Satoshi here, he abandoned you. And the fact that he hasn't shown up to save you now is proof, isn't it? So just stop it. Please stop being weird and pretending to endure it. Forget everything we just said. Understand? If you tell anyone else, your teacher will be very mad with you. Chie-sensei gave me a warning, then left to go back to the teacher's lounge. KT, please don't think Satoko is a pathetic, pitiful girl. She's living life. I know that she's our irreplaceable friend. Satoko is still trying her best. Let's watch over her a little longer. The person from the consultation center said they'd visit periodically from now on. If something terrible happens, they'll help her right away. Yeah, but only after it happens. Any more than that would have sounded like it was I was picking a fight, so I firmly swallowed my next words and went back to the classroom. Mion and Arena, Mion and Arena were talking to Satoko like they always did. It was a silly conversation, a humorous, even fun one, like it was any old day. If Satoko really said she could still endure it, then maybe I should do as Rika said and watch over her. Maybe whatever help I offer will just go unwanted. Okay. Puh. Also die Higurashi-Dinger, die sind immer besonders später, in späteren Kapiteln sind die immer so gut wie immer. Genau an der, fast perfekt, so dass ich irgendwann nicht mehr kann. Mit der Stimme und so weiter. Also normal reden ist irgendwie kein Problem. Aber so richtig vorlesen, das ist, weiß nicht. Das ist ermüdend und anstrengend, anstatt normal zu labern. Bisschen komisch.